Welcome to Outside View Scandals. Today we're diving into one of the Catholic Church's most embarrassing family feuds, the Great Western Schism. Yes, this is the story of how the Church managed to have not one, but two popes at the same time, because one pope wasn't enough drama. Now picture this, it's the 14th century. The Catholic Church is basically the political powerhouse of Europe. Kings bow down to the Pope and the people put their trust in the papacy to lead them spiritually. But then something goes horribly wrong. In 1309, the papacy moves from Rome to Avignon. Why? Well, let's just say Pope Clement V thought the weather in France was a bit nicer than in Rome. So for nearly 70 years, the popes live up in Avignon, far away from the eternal city they are supposed to be running. But not everyone's happy about this. You see, the Italians aren't too thrilled that their pope has gone on permanent vacation in France. They want him back. So fast forward to 1377. Pope Gregory the 11th finally returns to Rome, much to the Italians' relief. But he dies the next year, and this is where the real chaos begins. The cardinals gather to elect a new pope. Now, remember, most of these guys are French, so you can imagine they weren't too keen on staying in Rome. But the Roman mob demanded an Italian pope, or else, well, let's just say it wasn't going to be a peaceful Sunday mass. So, under a bit of pressure, the cardinals elect Urban VI. An Italian, of course. Problem solved, right? Not quite. Turns out Urban VI wasn't the most diplomatic guy. He was so unpopular that the cardinals quickly regretted their choice. So what do? They head back to Avignon and elect another pope, Clement VII. Yeah, now there are two popes. One in Rome, one in Avignon, both claiming to be the legitimate leader of the church. It's like a medieval version of Who Wore It Better, except with papal robes. And this kicks off the Great Western Schism, which lasts from 1378 to 1417. For nearly 40 years, Europe is split between two papal courts, and it's not just a minor squabble. Countries are picking sides. France, naturally, supports the Avignon Pope. England, at odds with France, backs the Roman Pope. Spain and Scotland side with Avignon. The Holy Roman Empire backs Rome. It's like the Church's very own Game of Thrones, but with fewer swords and more indulgences. The faithful are left wondering, who is the real Pope? And more importantly, how do I make sure I'm not going to end up in hell for picking the wrong one? This crisis of legitimacy damages the Church's reputation big time. I mean, when even the clergy can't decide who's in charge, it's hard to take their spiritual guidance seriously. And let's not forget about the money. Both popes needed cash to keep their courts running, so they started selling indulgences. You know, those handy little documents that could get you out of purgatory a bit faster. It was basically a 2-for-1 deal on salvation. The Church starts to look less like a religious institution and more like a medieval corporation with competing branches. As if one papal court wasn't corrupt enough, now there were two. And the irony? The whole reason the Church existed was to provide unity in faith. But here they are, fighting over who gets to sit on the big chair in Rome. In 1409, they try to fix this mess at the Council of Pisa. The cardinals decide the best solution is to elect a third pope, because that's exactly what was missing from the situation. Now we've got three popes. One in Rome, one in Avignon, and now a third one from Pisa. It's like some twisted ecclesiastical soap opera. Eventually, after a lot of backroom deals and political maneuvering, the Council of Constance is convened in 1414. And this time, they mean business. By 1417, they finally managed to depose or convince all three popes to step down. And they elect a new single pope, Martin V. Crisis over. Sort of. The Great Western Schism might have ended, but the damage was done. Trust in church took a major hit. People began to question whether the institution that was supposed to guide them spiritually was really all that holy. After all, if the church couldn't even decide who should be pope, what did that say about its authority? And this lingering doubt would set the stage for future challenges to the church's power. Hello, Reformation. So here you have it, the Great Western Schism. A decades-long scandal that saw the Catholic Church tear itself apart over power, politics, and of course, a little bit of vanity. But hey, at least we can all agree now that one pope is more than enough drama. So thanks for watching Outside View Scandals, and make sure to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments, what do you think was the most ridiculous part of the schism? The fact that they couldn't even manage with two popes, or that they thought adding a third one would solve things? And if you want to see another video, the next one is right here in the end screen.